Hi everyone, my name is Anjane and I'm a student here at SOIL. It brings me immense pleasure to be associated with the Accelerated Business Excellence program here, which is being chartered here for the first time in collaboration with CEDEP and SOIL. Before we proceed, I would love to sort of have Jens just speak about himself a little bit and just introduce himself to all of us.
Thank you. My name is Jens and I have the pleasure to be the Dean of CEDEP. The relationship with Anilo Sol is now about 2.5 years old. Anilo and me we met 5 years ago, and for me it was one of the characters in the Indian market space from whom I could learn a lot. So the conversation continued, which led to this alliance and partnership about 2 years ago, and from there the conversation started, what we can do together in the Indian market space, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, Jens, once again for joining in. I've taken the liberty of drafting a few quick questions, because we feel there's a lot of experience that we can actually capitalize on. So with your permission, Jens, I'd like to begin this quick interaction.
Sure.
Awesome. So the first question is going to be, do you think the Indian market, first of all, is ready for this kind of a shift?
Oh, absolutely. I think India has become one of the symbols of change in the last 10 years. It's fascinating. I had the pleasure, the luxury, about 22 years ago, the first time I went to India. And it was a world where I wasn't sure about if India knew where it wanted to go. There was still some legacy framing, and it was starting, the first companies like Tata started building a profile beyond the Indian boundaries. And today it's a company which is booming, which is full of hope. People consider the next day to become better than the day before, and it's fascinating to see. Are there problems in India? Absolutely. But this is the pleasure. You have a very active, energetic space.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. Moving on to the next question, how different do you think is the Indian executive from what you've experienced in the West?
What's the big difference? I think in the West, many, not all, there are also bad examples, but many executives have understood that the global workspace requires also empathy for different cultures. And again, we have bad examples, but I think most of the Western executives, senior executives, have seen, when I moved to India, there's certain rules which I have to learn, to acquire, or to at minimum show my respect for. So I think the international or global literacy of the average Westerner is fairly high in the meantime.
Yeah, sure.
And if I compare with the Indian population, very often Indian participants ask me, why is it so hard for Indian corporations to develop a global brand?
Yeah,
We have many companies who work outside of India. One of the most recent examples, who has joined CEDEP, more than 50% of the revenue comes from outside of India.
Yeah, sure.
Still, with the Indian participant, who I respect enormously, the intelligence, the quality, intellectual quality is mind-blowing in my mind.
Wow.
But the willingness to engage with other cultures is from time to time limited. I give you an example. We make a joke.
Sure.
What do you think of an American who comes to Mumbai or to Delhi and says, "Kind of, where's the next McDonald's?" We don't take this person with respect. So very often I ask the question, what do you think of an Indian executive who comes to Europe and looks first for an Indian restaurant before he goes? So there is something.
Absolutely.
Intellectually, everything is there. The money, the economy, the energy is there. But I think the Indian executives can, and I'm sure this will happen over the future years or the years to come, to learn also to show the reciprocal empathy for other cultures.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I think it makes a lot of sense. I also think you had mentioned something about willingness. So I believe my next question could revolve around that. So how willing do you think the Indian executives are for this kind of a shift? Because considering that a lot of them are already at a very senior position, right? It could be with respect to their hierarchical positions, could be with respect to their position in society. So do you think the willingness factor is here?
I think the willingness factor is there. Let me try to reason. The average Indian citizen has probably much more consideration with respect to society than other cultures. You might label it humanist underpinnings.
Sure.
And I think we have seen disastrous evolutions through the Western capitalism. And I trust to believe that there is more consciousness, social consciousness, in the average Indian executive. The responsibility they also want to take with respect to what happens around them, than we find somewhere else. So the willingness is there because they would assume that there is a responsibility for them to help India move forward in a good way and avoid some of the mistakes the Western world has made.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the final question, of course, and I do not need this for that, how has your experience been here so far? I mean, you've spent about close to 24 hours now, you've conducted...
We arrived Saturday night. No, I love coming back. I love the food. And first thing, no, the participants are fascinating. It is, you have people who are sincere about their being there. Trying to, respectful, to argue, to explore, to understand. So for somebody who has, from a professional or private point of view, the ambition to share some of the learnings which we've picked up somewhere else in the world, it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. So I think it's safe to say that we can expect you here again next year.
I hope. In all circumstances, otherwise, yes, this is expected.
Great. Thank you very much, Jens. Really look forward to many more interactions with you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.